Hey guys, it's Becca here bringing you a recovery 20-minute workout. I'm so excited that you are here to take care of your body after all the hard work that you have put in so far. So we're gonna begin sitting. Just take a comfortable seated position. You can cross your legs, you can sit on your knees for the kneeling posture. And I just want you to start by reaching up and over from side to side. Nice and easy, just to kind of wake up the sides of your torso. As you make your way from side to side, make sure that your hips are both plugging down equally and they're not starting to lift away from the floor. Maybe take your focus down towards the mat and just allow your neck to release as we do this one more time in each direction. This should hopefully feel pretty good through the side of your body and your shoulders. As you come back to center, place your hands onto your knees and round out your spine. I want you to drop your head super heavy. And then in all position, you're just gonna sit up nice and tall. And we can do that 3 more times. With an exhale, we curve into the spine. And the inhale, we can sit up nice and strong. 2 more times. Allow the shoulder blades to open. And then just allow your posture to grow a little taller. We'll do that 1 more time. Exhale, curve. And inhale, sit up tall. Carefully swing your legs around and make your way to hands and knees. We want to make sure the shoulders and wrists are stacked, the hips and knees are stacked. And from there, we'll move through a few of our cat-cow stretches. This is just going to allow a little mobilization in your front body, in your spine, maybe in your hips and your shoulders here as well. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale up and exhale under. So we're looking for a little more range of motion, maybe a little bit more energy through the fingerprints. And then from here, finding a neutral spine, anchor your toes, and let's all send the tailbone up into a V stretch or a downward dog. Take a second here. Notice what you're feeling in your hamstrings, in your calves, your chest, your shoulders, and just start to energize your fingers. I want you to separate your feet just a little bit wider. Maybe creep your hands forward a smidge. And then I want you to lift your heels up nice and high and roll into a plank position. From here, we'll drop the knees and sit back to our heels. Come back to hands and knees. Let's pick up our hips, and now we're gonna reach across the body to one ankle. Come back to the center and switch, and we're gonna go through this flow for a little bit just so that we can start to articulate through the ankles, wrists, and spine. And now for these first few, I've kept my toes tucked under, but you can also untuck your toes as you make your way into that child's pose position. So this is a great way to just start to release any tension that might be living in your neck, in your shoulders, in your spine. And I'd have us move through this 2 more times. Take your time here. This is a great opportunity for you to just explore your muscles and your joints and do what feels the best for you. Particularly if you've had a long week, you've done some hard workouts, this might be what your muscles and your joints are craving. So this is where we're just gonna have a little free flow. Have this opportunity to give back a little bit to the muscles that worked so hard for us already. Okay, making our way back into that child's pose one last time. Take a second here, breathe it out, and then I want you to just stretch in one direction. Take the opposite arm even further away and sink down into that hip. So I've got my left arm reaching across, left hip is heavy, head is relaxed. Take a breath. Let it out. And then just creep on through the center and do the same thing on the other side. So we want to create some friction, pressing the palm down, driving our hips and ribs away from us, and allowing the head to relax. We'll take a breath and let it out. And then as you make your way to the center, let's come to hands and knees. Tuck the toes, step back into a high plank position, and just start to bend and extend. I just want you to feel a little movement here through the hips and shoulders. We're not going to be here for much longer. In fact, just give me 1 more. And on this next one, take a step in with your left foot and a step forward with your right. Tent your fingers and just start to move through that back ankle. Ooh, if that camera picked it up, you might have heard a little snap, crackle, pop. So this is a great way to release any stress and tension that might be in your ankle joint. Feet get a lot of pounding, so we want to make sure that those are taken care of here as well. Shift forward. Gently drop your knee and allow the foot to relax. I want you to sink into that hip as best you can. So from here, we'll pause. I want you to take a second to feel the hip dropping, the chest opening, and just let it feel good, okay? From there, retuck the toe, pick your knee up, and we're gonna do some taps, a little activation. Tap and lift. Now you can keep your fingers tented, or maybe you bring your fists down to the floor. Let's take this tap 2 more times. Great way to find length and stretch. On the next one, once again, set your knee down, relax your ankle, and see what you feel. From this place, I want you to plant your hands. Your front foot can walk a little wider if that's where you're at today. Start to bend and extend your back knee as if there's a magnet pulling your heel towards your glute. 2 more times. Now I'm gonna give you guys a couple options here. If you'd like, just stay here or bend your knee and hold it, or reach back with your right arm, grab your foot and kick it into your hand. So we wanna feel the chest opening up as the hip sinks down. Focus can go back, or you can angle your nose towards your thumb. I want us to take 3 deep breaths here. And as you're doing this, let's try to pull the front knee in towards our midline. 2 more breaths. So we get a nice quad stretch, hip opener. 1 more breath. Doing good. All right, we're gonna release the back leg, circle the arm around, tuck your toe under and lift your knee up. Take a step forward with your back foot. Take a moment here to fold and stretch. We're gonna walk our feet in just to the inside of our mat and roll up to standing. Take a moment to inhale to the sky, dive down, interlace your hands and roll up bone by bone. Just a little articulation here. Thumbs flip down, push the palms forward, reach for the sky, and then we'll bring our palms to the floor and revisit that high plank position. Stay for a moment, fingers stretched nice and wide, and we'll go into a few of those little sort of momentum froggies, we'll call them. Let's do 2 more. So we're just moving through the joints, 1 more. Okay, now let's go to the other side. So I want you to bring your right foot into center, left foot steps wider than the mat, and we're just gonna move through that ankle and see what we feel. Maybe a little snap, crackle, pop happening here as well. Not so much on this side. Okay, so you've got that forward momentum. On the next one, I want you to pause, gently lower your knee and untuck your toe. So this is where we're just gonna feel things out. Your fingers can stay tented. Again, you've got that option to maybe make fists on your mat, but for now, shoulders down, chest up, hip heavy. Take a couple seconds here to breathe. Feel how that is in your body today. Okay, let's go into our active knee tap. So we'll re-anchor the toe, pick up the knee, fists can stay down or flat palms. Let's go 4 taps. I want you to really drive your heel away as your knee lifts. Let's do 2 more. And 1 more. And then once again, we'll drop the knee, relax the toe, open up the chest, and let's place the left palm flat. So from here, guys, we're gonna go into that hamstring curl. So we wanna feel that momentum, like the heel is going to touch the booty. That's the whole option here. Let's do 1 more. And then you've got a few things to try out. You can keep your leg heavy like we were. You can keep it curled. This is a little bit more work. Or maybe you reach back and you grab your foot. Now, don't sweat it if you're not quite there yet. As long as you're feeling a stretch in your body, that's all that matters today. So I want you to keep that downward momentum in the hip. Try to pull your left knee in towards midline. Your focus can be back. Your focus can be down, depending where you're at. And we've got 2 more breaths here to enjoy our stretch. So we've got another breath. Maybe get a little deeper into your hip. And then as you release your leg, circle the arm down. We'll pick up the back foot and again, take a big step forward and wide. Drop your head, take your forward fold. And then once again, we'll walk the feet in just a smidge, bend your knees and roll up. Arms will reach to the sky. We take our dive down, fingers interlaced, roll up, hands to heart, flip your hands, push forward, look at your toes. All right, guys, we're gonna reach up to the sky. And then I just want you to take a seat on the floor. All right, so we've got a couple things that we're gonna work with here. Let me fix my shirt. Okay, so from this spot, I want you to open up into a comfortable straddle position. If this is not working for you today, you can always go into a single leg stretch. You do you, but let's try this out. I want you to scoot your hips forward, flex your toes a lot, and then feel like you're sitting up against a wall. Toes towards the feet, or towards the ankles, I should say. Take your left arm up, and let's just move from side to side. So very similar to our very first opening exercise, where we're allowing the low back muscles to release. So my friends, if you do experience low back tightness, This is actually a really, really great and effective stretch that you can do to release the lower back and even the hips here as well. So I'm gonna have us move through this one more time in each direction. Again, we're plugging our sits bones down throughout. Let's take this one more time to our right. And then I want you guys to walk forward as far as you can while keeping your spine tall. So rather than slumping forward, extend your spine, pull your hip flexors back. Your legs might be a little bit engaged right here. Pull the shoulders away from your ears, and maybe as you creep more forward, the forearms can start to rest. We're gonna stay in this active stretch for another 2 breaths. So utilize that exhale to maybe sink more forward into your body. And if your hips are naturally quite open, this may be a quite easy position for you, and therefore I'm jealous. Okay, so from this position, I want you to relax your feet and just slump. This is where we can just kind of chill for a second, loosey-goosey, if you will. Okay, so walking back to the center, let's kind of shimmy our legs a little bit so they're coming inwards. And then I want you to hug your right heel in and your left heel back. Okay, pushing yourself towards your left heel, I want you to take your left arm across, feel how this hip is opening and how your low back is releasing. From there, we're gonna shimmy around and just tap in the opposite direction. This time, as the hand comes back, lift your hips. So we're gonna do a little circular pattern here to kind of wake up the front of the body and the back of the body. Try to ground both sits bones as you take your right arm across. 2 more flows here. Hopefully this feels really good through your hip, your quad muscle, maybe even through your low back. We'll do that one more time on this side. Woo-wee. Let's finish here. Take a second. And then as you come back to the center, we're just simply gonna switch the legs. No graceful transitions, just make it happen. Okay, so shifting into your right hip now, let's just see how we feel as we reach across. So we've got that hip kind of heavy. We're finding a little bit of a twist through the spine, and then we'll reach across, feel that opposite release, and then now that left hand will come back and we'll circle that pattern so we can really start to open up the front chain of the body. Again, if there was a microphone on my hip right now, you would have heard it pop magnificently. So we know that we're waking things up and giving back to our body. This is well-deserved. And here's the thing, if you work out really hard, props to you, but it's always really good to give your body a little bit of that recovery focus as well. It'll just help your workouts be a little bit more effective in the future. All right, you guys, let's go back into that little held reach across. Feel how that is in your body. And then as you come to the center, we're simply gonna come down now to a lying position. So make your way down to your mat. So I'm gonna have you guys just hug your knees for a sec, okay? Place your hands down like anchors. So I want you to really press your forearms and your palms into the floor, and your heels can stay heavy, knees are more towards you. Without letting your thigh hit the floor, I want you to drop to your right side and then up and over to your left side. What's great about this particular sort of released exercise is you're still activating your abdominals while you're releasing through your mid and your low back. And your arms are sort of your anchor, keeping you in this sort of really steady position. So try not to let your shoulder blades lift off the floor. All right, guys, let's go one more time here from side to side. This should hopefully feel really nice now. And then as you come back to the center, I just want you to pause, place your feet down, and let's start with the right ankle across the left thigh. So we've got our nice comfy figure 4. We don't have to work too hard for this, so yay. If you feel like you've got really tight hips or hamstrings, you can grab a towel or maybe a t-shirt and drape it underneath your left thigh. Otherwise, just grab it with your hands and pull it towards you. You can also grab the top of your shin if you've got some range of motion there. So my left foot is floppy like a fish. My right foot is super active. And then from there, organically, we're gonna feel the lower back really pressing into the floor. But see what happens when you tilt your tailbone away from you. Wow. You're gonna hopefully feel a release here in this booty cheek. So you can either keep the back flat or let the back arch. And I just want us to breathe here for about 3 more breaths. And as you're doing this, feel your chest kind of opening, maybe the low upper back muscles get a little heavier, a little wider. We've got another breath here to just focus that attention on our right outer hip and glute. And then as your left foot makes its way back to the floor, let's go into a single leg stretch. I totally get it if your hamstring is really tight and quivering right now. You can keep your knees slightly bent, or again, use that prop to maybe bring the towel behind your thigh or up and over your foot. Either way, we want to try to straighten the knee if we're using our prop, and we're start to hug the knee in towards us. So personally, I like to kind of laser beam the shin to my outer rib cage and kind of let that happen. And then I just kind of shimmy into that stretch. So you can do the same. So right now we've got our single leg stretch with opposite knee bent. You can also extend that opposite leg and feel a little action through the top of your hip and your quad. So I'm gonna kind of grab the outside of my heel, use the left arm as an anchor, and just because I feel like I want a deeper stretch, I'm gonna try to shimmy my leg to the outside of my ribs. And again, we're just kind of figuring it out as we go. You know, stretching is not something that should cause stress. We should try to get out of the stressful situation, so do what feels good for you. We're just gonna take another breath. That's it, just one more. And then as you bring both knees into your chest from here, let's take them a bit wider and just do a little rock from side to side. And we're gonna revisit that figure four now on the other side. So feet down, left foot crosses over, and we're just gonna draw the right thigh in. Pick your poison. Use your towel behind the thigh, on top of the shin. The main thing I want you to focus on is keeping the left foot really flexed and the right foot sort of floppy like a fish. Okay, so the back is probably flat on your mat right now, like mine. And you can totally stay there, or you can tilt your tailbone away from you and let the lower back arch. And that's where you're gonna get a little bit of a deeper stretch, and that might be where you wanna hang out. So we're gonna breathe here 3 breaths. Use that exhale to sink into your shoulder blades, maybe arch the back a little bit more. We got another breath here. Feels oh so good in that left hip. And then as you place your right foot down, again, we're gonna shoot the left heel to the sky. And this is where we're just gonna play. Maybe you're right here and that's where you stay the whole time. No rules against that. So just see where you are today and then play with it. So we want to try to keep the back of that leg straight, especially if we're going to use a towel. But again, feel free to microbend if that's more comfortable for you today. All right, we're going to straighten the bottom leg. Again, I'm going to try to aim for the outside of my heel and kind of use the left arm as an anchor at my side as we kind of just magnetize the inner thigh to the ribs. And you'll notice I'm pointing my right foot a lot. So I'm elongating the top of that leg. And that's just sort of a double whammy in your stretch. And that's something that you can play with as well. And we're here for just another breath, guys. So good. Hopefully you're feeling quite relaxed. One more breath. And then once again, you guys, let's bring our knees into our chest a little bit wider. Take that little rock from side to side. And then I want you to bring your hands behind your thighs. Pull your abs in and just start to float your chest up. So we're gonna work a little bit on this next move. Let's inhale, roll back. Exhale, roll up, and see if we can keep the toes from touching our mat. So we do a little body roll here. So we keep the abdominals pretty pulled in. So we've got a little control on that upward C curvature. We're gonna do that 2 times. Inhale, exhale. One more time. I'm gonna see if you can stay right here. Hold it. 3 and 2 and 1. And we're gonna set the feet down, pull them together, and open the knees into our butterfly stretch. All right, guys, grab your ankles, drop your shoulders. We're gonna pin the insides of our elbows to the inner thighs. And again, just like we did in our straddle, we are starting to kind of reach to the crown of the head. Sits bones are grounded, spine is tall, neck is long. We're gonna stay here for another breath, a little bit active. And then you can just start to walk your arms forward if that feels good. You'll relax your head, maybe the nose comes down to the arch of your feet. And wherever you are, guys, just take 2 more nice full breaths. Okay, walking back towards yourself. Bring your knees to center. Shoot your legs out. Give them a little shimmy. And then one last little stretch. Right heel comes to midline. Left crosses over. Sit up tall. You can keep the leg straight or bend it. We're going to reach up. Take the elbow across and spine twist over the left side. Now, again, both sits bones should be planted. We're sitting up tall like we're against a wall and using our exhale to corkscrew back over the left shoulder. Take one more breath. From here, staying on the same leg, I just want you to counter your twist. We'll come to the other side, but same leg. And then we're just gonna do that on the other side. So you can simply just beep, beep, uncross like a little dancer. And again, you've got that option to keep the bottom leg straight. So you do you. Sits bones are grounded. We elevate out of the ribs, take the elbow across to create that resistance. And then lo and behold, we've got that lovely stretch on the other side. Try to keep your shoulders heavy. Let's take one more breath. As you come through the center, we're just countering our twist to the other side. Take a moment here. And then lastly, make your way back to center. You can simply cross your legs. We're gonna reach up to the sky, bring our palms to touch, and bring some really good, relaxing energy right into our center. I wanna thank you guys for tuning in for this 20-minute recovery workout. I'm hoping that you're feeling more open, more relaxed, more ready for the next workout to come. Thank you all. See you next time.